Now, the Nelson Mandela Bay Municipality has informed residents that the fires have been ravaging the metro this morning are all now under control. The Fire and Emergency Department had deployed numerous firefighting vehicles and teams to combat fires, ensuring community safety. However, sites remain smouldering and fire and emergency services teams are still on the ground actively dampening hotspots. And although conditions are now currently stable, residents are still urged to remain extra vigilant as changing wind conditions could also cause the situation to escalate, while nearby communities have been advised to stay alert and immediately report any signs of flare-ups, smoke or even fire activity. Kouga Municipality Mayor Hattingh Bornman joins us now to give us an update also on the fires. Mayor Bornman, we do appreciate your time with us today. Welcome. So please give us the very latest from your office's perspective, any notable developments in containing the blazes. Good afternoon. Mr. Mayor, good afternoon. All right, it seems like the mayor is still trying to contact with us. We're going to take you once again back to those live visuals, in fact, incoming visuals that we are receiving from these ravaged areas that we are seeing there. That is Humansdorp, that is the surrounding areas. Interestingly enough, next to a large body of water, but you can see swathes of land as well as private or even residential property there, as well as farms that has been gutted by the fire. I understand the mayor is now back online with us. Let's welcome the Kouga Municipality Mayor, Mayor Hattingh Bornman, who joins us live for an update. Mayor Bornman, we do appreciate your time with us, sir. Good afternoon and welcome. Do give us the very latest from our officer's perspective. Any notable developments in containing the blazes? Good afternoon.
Yeah, thank you. Good afternoon. Thank you for having me here. It's really wonderful that we are having huge issues currently with high winds. The pictures that you just saw was damage done yesterday by the fires on the Krom River, where people were evacuated. It is unfortunate that we couldn't get to all these outlying areas quick enough. And unfortunately, as you saw there in picture, also lost one or two properties. At this stage, though, however, we have managed to save lives. Now we've had no injuries or deaths, and very few properties has been damaged. The pictures on screen there is in St. Francis Bay, close to St. Francis Bay, where most of the fire is now moved into a field area where there's high bushes and so forth. And with the helicopter support, we have been able to control that to a large extent. The bigger concern currently, however, is just outside of Jeffreys Bay, where a fire that was contained last night flared up again, and that is causing huge concern. Very, very big flames and out of control fire as we speak on that side, just to the north of Jeffreys Bay, where veld fires are raging on tremendously. So we are currently looking at all different angles. We've just received another helicopter from the George area, and they're on site. They just arrived on site to assist in Jeffreys Bay as well. So we're really thankful for the support that we're getting, and we're doing everything we can. Firefighters on the ground, water from the air. And we're doing as much as we possibly can to stop this fire from spreading any further. There is a new area that is moving towards Hankie as well. That's concerning, but our teams are on the ground fighting there as well.
Mr. Mayor, we're also getting reports, in fact, as early as yesterday, that the fires had led to the disruption of power and even water within the municipality, also announcing that no restoration timeframes were available at that time. What can you tell us about that matter at this stage and other infrastructural damage that also needs restoration? I know it's still early, but what are you calculating in terms of the damage at this stage?
Yes, so at this stage, I'm actually happy to report that the electricity in St. Francis Bay has just been switched on. They just started to switch on. So they'll obviously do it in phases as to not overload the system and then cause more power outages. But St. Francis Bay, Cape St. Francis and Oyster Bay should have power within the next 40 minutes or so as they start to switch on the electricity again after working extremely hard under very, very difficult circumstances in the fire. So that's on the one side, and then additional water and so on. We didn't not have water. We always had water, but there are certain areas that ran a bit low, that we were concerned about. Just without electricity, pumps had to be run through generators and so forth. But we managed, and we were hoping that all levels, reservoir levels and so forth, will be back up running as per normal.
Mr. Mayor, I've just had an interview with a reporter basically on the into there, saying that she's witnessing dead snakes as well as other animals and vegetation. How is the city also dealing with the concern of the wildlife that could be severely impacted by the fires? What current plans are afoot to rescue those currently in the fire line?
Yeah, SPCA is sitting in all our JOC meetings, and they are on the ground working with us in making sure that wildlife stays secure and safe. Where fences need to be cut, we do that. Where horses needed to be moved in Kabeljous, just north of Jeffreys Bay, there's quite a few game farms around that we needed to cut some wire fences and fix some fences where fire broke some fences and so forth. So. And I'm really always amazed at things like this, where people just start to take hands and work together. We've had so much support from all sorts of avenues, from obviously from our local businesses and security companies and law enforcement and so forth, but also from all over the country, over the border into the Western Cape. The Eastern Cape provincial governments come on board, the district municipalities come on board, and we really have received tremendous support, and I'm really thankful for that, and it has made a huge difference in making sure that we contain this fire as quickly as we possibly can. And there's obviously still some hard work to do, and I think we will go into the evening tonight, but hopefully by tomorrow morning we would have contained most of it.
Mr. Mayor, I know it's still early, of course, in these developments, but talk to us about what could have potentially, from the reports that you're receiving, what are you hearing as to what could have potentially caused the eruption of this fire throughout these areas?
Yeah, two of the fires we've got proof of that. Two of the fires were caused by people that were stealing cables and were burning the rubber off the copper, and that caused, because it is extremely dry currently here in Kouga Municipality, and that caused obviously a veld fire to spread very, very easily. And then there were very high winds as we usually have here, and that just spread it even faster.
And in closing, Mayor Bornman, for residents of the affected areas, what assurance can you give them at this particular stage in ensuring that the fires will be effectively dealt with before, of course, the end of the day, as you said earlier on?
Yeah, no, look, we've been fighting. Our firefighters have been working since yesterday morning already on the specific fire in St. Francis. And it obviously then also spreading to other areas, and they've been working extremely hard throughout the night in very, very difficult situations. I'm hoping, obviously not, we probably won't have it completely under control without any fires by tomorrow morning, but I'm hoping that with the calmer wind throughout the night, throughout the evening, we'll have a good idea of where there's further hotspots are, and we'll be able to contain those as quickly as possible, because we are expecting more high winds tomorrow. The wind direction will also change, which will give it a whole new, we'll have to have a whole new approach for that as well. So we are making sure that we do as much as we possibly can while the wind is dying down towards this afternoon and into this evening.
Mayor, we do appreciate your time with us. Thank you so much, and good luck with the firefighting efforts there. That is the Kouga Municipality Mayor there, Mr. Hattingh Bornman, with the very latest update on the fires that continue to rage on in that particular area.